And in North Korea, they really went after family values. They brainwashed North Korean children. Like when I was growing up there and going to school, my school teacher told me the most important father that I had was my dear leader, not my father. The most dangerous thing you can do is in North Korea is saying the wrong thing. But there's a guard standing there what you're doing. So if you put a valid in the not support, you end up in a political prison camp or get a bullet that night. Hi everyone, welcome back. I am Yeonmi. I'm a nurse and Defector human rights activist. Today I am so excited to do this video because this is something really request video. A lot of you have asked questions on the comments, and today therefore I'm going to do top 6 the most googled questions about North Korea. I think today's topic going to really help you to understand more things, about the world history and geopolitics. So number 1 question that was asked the most on Google was, when was North Korea found? In September 1948, Kim Il-sung started North Korea with the support of Soviet Union and especially Stalin time. They gave so much help to Kim Il-sung, and that's how North Korea began. It's almost the masterpiece of plan of Stalin that all the dreams that he envisioned to have in Soviet Union that didn't come true, it came true in North Korea. So it was almost designed state by Stalin. Number 2 question. Do North Koreans speak the same language as South Koreans? This is a really interesting question because North Korea and South Korea have a shared history of thousands of years as the same country. However, this over 70 years of separation made our country not only just separate, different in language, but also even our mentality and the way how we process things, and even our culture and tradition have shifted dramatically. South Korea in some ways preserved way more of the original Koreanness that I did not even know, because in North Korea, like if you know the communists, right, they really go after the old tradition because tradition has a strength. Because tradition is not all bad. Of course, some traditions must be regarded right away, but some of them is something like family that was tested, right, over and over, and it worked. That's why we keep the family values. And in North Korea, they really went after family values. They brainwashed North Korean children. Like when I was growing up there and going to school, my school teacher told me the most important father that I had was my dear leader, not my father. If I see any strange behaviors, even with my parents, I had to report on them. So like that, North Korea really destroyed all those values that made Korea great. And in South Korea, of course, it became very westernized. However, it became more pure Korea than North Korea. And also when it comes to language difference, it's like, basic grammar is similar. However, the vocabulary is very different. For instance, in North Korea, there is no word for love. That we don't know what romantic love is. The only love that North Korean people understand is love for the dear leader. And there are no words for human rights, liberty, and even gay, not to mention what is LGBTQ is. There's nothing called gender fluid, or there's nothing called even, credit card, because we don't have a bank that is working, so people don't even understand the concept of credit. And also we don't know what is dry cleaning is, what is a supermarket, because we don't have those things in the country. Because of that, a lot of words that exist in South Korea does not exist in North Korea, and that makes it hard for the communication. I think when I arrived in South Korea, maybe I understand like 60% of what South Koreans said, but in the university class, I literally remember recording a lecture from South Korean professor and had to listen and again and asking vocabulary from my peers and look up online, because that's how different it was. Number 3, is there freedom of speech in North Korea? Of course, as you know this answer, no. There's no way that even North Koreans even know what freedom of speech is. The first thing my mom told me as a young girl was, not to even whisper because the birds and mice could hear me. The most dangerous thing that you have in your body in North Korea is your tongue. The things that you say, the things that the regime doesn't approve, can get executed and sent 3 generations of your family into political prison camp. Because of that, the most dangerous thing you can do is in North Korea is saying the wrong thing. And this really alarms me by living in the West right now, this culture of woke and censoring speech in the name of protecting people's feelings. That that path we go keep towards when we're restricting freedom of speech, we can end up like North Korea where people literally die for saying the wrong thing. And that is possible, and that's why we need to really understand the value of freedom of speech and keep fighting for and having it in this country. So number 4, do North Korea have a constitution? Yes, on paper we do, but it's very different. The constitution is in the country, right, is there to preserve the rights for the individuals and keeping prosperity and giving us a right to pursue happiness. However, in North Korea, the constitution is dedicated to protect the regime, the party, and the dictator, and how people have to become sacrificing their life to, in the glory of the parties and revolution. And not only that, what makes America, in my mind, was different is that it's not this country has a constitution, but this country respects the constitution and follows it. And this is why my heart is broken into pieces when there are people saying things like we need to tear down the Constitution. What makes America great is because of the Constitution. And in North Korea, the Constitution is a piece of garbage. And not only that, even some good parts in it is not being followed and respected, and regime doesn't even follow it. And that's why people are suffering in that country. Number 5, are there elections in North Korea? And this will blow your mind. On paper, North Korea is a republic and democracy. So Democratic People's Republic of Korea is like a DPRK, North Korea's official name. Because of that, they do have elections, they do have to vote, but it's like a total scam. When you don't vote in North Korea, you get punished, you go to prison. So it's not an option not to vote. And that's why the regime keeps saying almost like 100% turnout in the country. And when you go vote, literally the representatives were selected by the dictator already. And when you do the president election, that was Kim Jong-un is in the ballot, only one person, and it's like open box. Only chance you get to say is like I support or not support, but there's a guard standing there what you're doing. So if you put a ballot in the not support, you end up in a political prison camp or get a bullet that night. And that's why it's like a horse fake election that they hold every 5 years or 3 years each year. It's just a complete waste of what they do. Last question. It's such a question that people really ask, and I'm really touched to even people are curious about this question. Will North Korea ever be free? I'm actually certainly hoping for that and fighting for that. But to me is, if North Korea gonna ever become free like our country, it's in some sense is up to us. It's up to us. Like ending the Holocaust, it needed the world joint effort to end the Holocaust. North Korea, there is another modern Holocaust is happening that is inside North Korea. It is really up to us as a humanity to answer to us, like what it means to be a human. Do we really, like who are we? And I think what we do today is going to decide that future. I really truly believe that nothing lasts forever, right? In history, we've seen over and over every great empire fell, and there's every great bad dictator fell. At some point, there will be a crack in North Korea, and the regime gonna collapse, and we are going to face North Koreans face to face someday. And when they ask us, what have you done when we are going through Holocaust? Do we have an answer? I think this is gonna be a question that we always have to, we all need to prepare. Did we do something when we knew there was a Holocaust was going on? And that's why I'm very grateful for you to be here today learning about this country. I know like North Korea seems like nothing to do with us, but I really wonder, like, what if we were going through that? Like, what if America or like the West wasn't free and under the Holocaust, and none of other countries did anything to help us, right? That's not who we are. That's not what humanity is. We are better than that. So thank you so much, guys, for caring about North Korean people, and keep coming back to educating yourself about these topics, and please share this video so more people hear about this reality, and so we can make a difference. Love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.